This week I came face to face with my weakness, or as Josh put it, that one thing that the forces of evil would use to attack me with. And that was hard, but God also showed me this week that He is there in that weakness, and that when I am at my weakest point, He is at His strongest. And He really showed that to me through the verse 2 Corinthians 12:9. Talking about weaknesses, it says, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Spiritual life this week has been amazing, and I think the main thing I took away from it was when Josh told the story of how he was sitting at work and how he just realized that that wasn't his calling. His calling was to pursue a dream. And I found myself lately trying to just get my future figured out and try to see what I want to do and do things based off of myself, but when in reality, it's all in God's hands, and he wouldn't have thought that he would become a writer in the future, but God just told him that's what he needed to do, and bam, he went. And I think that's something that kind of slapped me across the face, that's what I needed to do, and to really sit back and ask God, what do you want with my life, rather than telling him, this is what I want to do with my life, can you make this happen? And I think that's something that I'll be able to hang on to for a while now.
So, talking to you. Okay, one thing that Josh Rubach had said that I really connected with is how, like, with God, He can take, like, the hardest parts of your life and things that you don't want to share with people, and if you surrender that to Him, like, He'll take that and He can totally change you. And, like, with God, you don't have to be good enough for Him to work in your life. Like, I know with friends a lot of times you have to be good enough, or you have to be, like, the funny one or something, but with God, it's like He doesn't need you to be good enough, and with Him, like, you can just totally surrender yourself to Him, and He'll take you, like, no matter how broken you are.
This week when Josh spoke about the unfair advantages, it just really hit me because it's so true. Like, you can go through something and not understand, like, why you're going through it, but then you'll be with someone else that has gone through something very similar, and you'll be able to, like, relate to them. And that's so important, because when you're talking to someone about whatever it is, it's really important to be able to connect with them on a deeper level. So the whole unfair advantage thing is it's just so true, and I really liked how he touched on that.
I learned this week that I struggle with being authentic in my relationships, and now I'm going to work on how to be more authentic and sharing the 10% that I don't share. It's really hard to go that deep and personal into your life, but it's harder to hold on to it and struggle through it without anyone else there. So that's what I've learned, and trying to fix that now, and going to be really real with my friends and what they struggle with too.
All right, what I'm really taking away from Reeboks Chapel is that everybody is two-faced. We all have a lot. We have either the hero or the monster to deal with, and people normally see me my best or my worst. So if I can work out, like, how to get rid of most of the monster, you can't get rid of it completely, and become more of a hero, and people will see me as a better person. I'll be able to better my friendships with everybody else.
All right, one of the things I really liked from Reeboks Chapel today was when I'm not sure who he quoted, but he quoted someone in saying, God shapes us through wrestling and not hugging. And that's just, I find that, like, it's so true, because the times that we grow closer to God are when we're struggling the most. And then kind of touching on what he said yesterday, instead of fixing the situation, making everything better, like taking away whatever pain, you've been experiencing, instead of taking that pain away, which would be good, He gives us Himself. And that's one of the things I've really loved, is the fact that truly the greatest thing we could ever wish for and that God could ever give us is Himself. and that's just awesome.
One thing that I really liked about what Josh said is that Jesus calls us into the storms, and like Jesus called Peter to walk on the water to him into the storm. He's calling us to those places that we might not usually want to go. For Josh, it was his dad, and for a lot of us, it could be something very different. But I think that's really profound that God calls us to those places that we find the hardest to go, and He teaches us amazing things through those experiences.